Hey.
Hey everybody, welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwan Twyford. I'm America's most sought after real estate investor. And I'm so excited that you are on another episode with me today. I have a super great guest. I've got a wicked smart man with me today, and we're going to dig in and we're going to find out and we're going to learn all about Chris Craddock. So at Dwanderful, so it's dwanderful.com. If you have never opted in, I've got 4 free ebooks for you. And our motto here is people before profits. So if that resonates with you, you're at the right place, this is the right time, and we are your people. So we're going to dig in and we're going to get to know Chris and see what's happening in the DC area. So Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you. You're so cute.
Thank you.
I feel like you should be like on a beach on a paddleboard or something.
Well, I'll tell you, we've been living at our lake house all summer and actually just had to come back. We're installing the floors in the house we're building. And my wife was, she really wanted the floor pattern to be a certain way. So we're back here for the day, but I've been out on the water a lot this summer. So
yeah. You have that like paddleboard vibe. I've been on my jet skis out on the kayak or something. I love that. Yeah, we actually have a house in Florida that's on a lake. And when I'm down there, I am literally outside on the water like every minute of the day.
The water is amazing. It literally, it's my happy place, right?
Me
it's
too.
the best.
My soul like lives at the ocean. So first of all, we like to start off having a toast. So what are you drinking?
I am it's water with, what is this stuff that I have in here? Some sort of health pill that my one of my buddies.
Well, I have a live enzyme, so water with live enzyme. So let's have a toast. So cheers to you.
Cheers.
I always like to sort of make it like a conversation. Like if we were sitting out, we had a toast and we're talking, and people were just like listening into what all we're going to talk about today. So everybody take a deep breath and stretch it out, shake it all up, and just open your mind and get ready to have some learning and have some fun with me and with Chris today. So basically, Chris, first off, why don't you tell us who you, just like in like a 2 or 3 sentences, what you do and how we can get a hold of you. And then I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions and see how you became to be Chris Craddock.
Yeah. So what do? I own 13 businesses, almost all in the real estate world. A number of them are 7-figure businesses. And how can people get a hold of me? Chris Craddock Official on TikTok, at Crad Rock, which is a cheesy old high school nickname, on Instagram, or my website, chriscraddock.com those are the easiest ways to find me.
Okay, and just make sure we're spelling it right. ChrisCraddock.
That's right.
Okay, right. chriscraddock.com. And tell me your TikTok thing again.
Just Chris Craddock Official.
Okay. I actually started doing TikTok. We started a little bit in the lockdown, but I don't know. We were in Florida when it happened. So we got locked down at our house down there. And we were just out going to the beach and going out and doing everything every day, which probably would have been the time to jump into it. But we watched all kinds of stupid shows and binged all kinds of crazy stuff. And I did just a couple. But this last few months, I decided I'm going to get serious about my TikTok. So I started a TikTok page called Dwantastic. So I took Dwan from Dwanderful and did a Dwantastic. And I've been doing TikTok a lot. I got to tell you, it's really fun.
It is. It's so easy to edit. And for me, I just like to give, like, what am I thinking about? What have I been teaching? What have I, and it's just like, I can take just like 2 minutes, take like whatever's on my brain, put it out there. And it's so simple.
It's so simple. So my husband every night, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching TikToks. So I try to follow like everyone I interview, and I try to follow real estate people and investors and mentors and people like that. But my goodness, I follow so many comedians. I laugh until I cry sometimes over the things that are on TikTok. It's so fun.
Yes, I love comedians and pranks. Those are like
That's
my
it too.
two
Me too.
favorite things.
That's what I do every night. I have a few pages I follow, and I'm just like laughing. Mine's like, because I have my headsets on. What are you laughing? I'm like, dude, I'm on TikTok. I watch all the funny stuff. So much fun. Okay, so the first thing I want to ask you about. So you're in DC. You told me that earlier.
Yeah,
And how old are you?
I am. I just actually a couple weeks ago turned 44.
44. Nice. You're still a pup. And I heard you say you and your wife are at the lake. So you have kids?
Yes, I'm going to shock you. We've got six kids.
6 kids.
Took
Wow,
a while to
that's a
figure out
lot.
what caused it. Now we can like put an end to that. Just kidding.
Kids are great though. 6 kids. That's a lot of kids. I don't know. My husband and I had one, he had 2, so we didn't have any together. So we have the 3. And my son's already got 4 kids. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do. But I love kids.
Yeah, my wife's the oldest of 9, so I thought that was a little weird when we met, but I'm a massive extrovert, and so it was like a party at their house all the time. I'm like, I don't want to do 9, but maybe a big family. So we had 2, we adopted our 3rd, and then we had 3 more. So
Oh, that's so great. I love that you adopted too. Yeah, no, my husband's from a big family and my family's a lot smaller. So when I first met him, I'd go to his thing and there's just like siblings and there's probably like 20 nieces and nephews. His one brother had like 9 kids. I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never seen so many people in a room together.
right. But it's
super fun. And then looking back, it's like, oh, I wish I would have had like a giant family like that. So
right.
I think in the big picture, it's always amazing. So now you said you have 13 businesses. So that's a lot.
Yes.
So what do you do? Like, what are give us an idea of what are some of the businesses that you have?
I'll just throw out like a handful of them. I have a residential retail agent team. I've got 37 agents that work for me.
Okay.
I have a construction business, a title business, a hard money business, an insurance business, we have a mortgage business, I don't know, I'm losing my mind, flipping, a rental portfolio. Yeah, there's just a bunch. Title, yeah, a bunch of different.
So so what I think here, what I'm hearing, I always tell people, especially new investors, whatever they want to do, wholesaling, rehabbing, whatever they want to do, but they need to have a team because you need a title company, you need a mortgage broker, you need a real estate agent, you need all these things. But it seems like you just built like your own whole entire team and made each one a business.
Yeah. So the cool thing was,
great.
Yeah, I had a business coach one day that said to me, he's like, why get paid once when you can get paid 5 times on the same transaction? If you can figure it out in a way that's compliant, it's great. So like a lot of people do it in a way that's not compliant in the retail space. But if you can do it in a way that's compliant, like you can have a buyer's agent helping a buyer, a listing agent helping a listing. You're working with the title company. You're working with the insurance company. You're doing the construction that like helps their house. You're, like all of the different ways that you can do business with them. And as long as you're doing a really good job, it's awesome. And so I was mentored by Gary Keller at one point in time, of Keller Williams. So I'm
in Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
I bought $8,000 worth of those and I give them out to all of our buyers. So there we go.
I'm in the book. Awesome. Back then, I had really short platinum hair, so I don't look like the same person in the book, but I got interviewed and I'm in one of the chapters of that book.
That's awesome.
I know. Awesome. I was just like, woohoo, I'm in a book. And then I got asked to write a couple books. I was like, oh my God, I wrote a book. I was just like so excited, like, oh, writing books is the best thing ever. And it's just funny how like all these things unfold when you get into the business and get going. And great. Gary Keller is like super smart.
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the things he said that I thought was so interesting, if you want to have other businesses, is you can have as many businesses as you want, as long as they're all in a folder and there's a face of the person that's in charge of that business. And that face is not your face. Right. And so as long as you have somebody else that's in charge of all of those things, like I couldn't even, like literally some of them, I just wasn't even thinking about able to name, because it's somebody else's job every day to move that ball forward. Yeah. Right. It's my job. Like I do other things, right? But I'm not thinking about it every morning. I'm not the one waking up every morning, moving that ball forward. Otherwise it would be my job. And I'm not looking for more jobs. I'm looking for businesses where I can add my expertise, where my money will, like, I think the definition of wealth and the definition of having a business is when your money or your business works harder than you work, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's so much fun. So you have so many different things. What's your favorite?
I don't know. I mean, there's two of them that I really love. I love my retail business because my agent business, because it was like our first one that, you know,
Yeah,
I
okay.
was, yeah, it's just awesome. And I also have so many agents that I've helped become multimillionaires through real estate. And it's just been fun. Like, that's one of my favorite things, is to
Yeah.
see people do that. But then the other one is probably the EXP business is what I'm really liking. I kind of converted a lot of my coaching. So that's another business I have, as a coaching business, but I converted my coaching business where I'm giving away my group coaching program to everybody that comes over and works with us with EXP. And it's just been really fun. Like, I've been able to see people, like, you know, one of the groups that I coach out in Oklahoma, right? This is their first full year having a real estate agent team. And they're just taking their cast off leads from their wholesaling business and using them, like the people that want retail price. Like, they say, hey, you know, I know this house will sell for 250. I'll sell it for 235, right? There's no room to wholesale that. And so then they send out their agent, take the listings, and there's a process to it, take the listing, but they're going to do about 200 transactions this year. And it's their first full year doing retail deals, because I just walked them through the process. And so watching them build out a business that, like, by any means, like any measurement, is like massively successful, like, that adds so much joy to my own life.
Yes. Oh, no, I totally feel you on that. I get so excited when I have a student and they do really well. And they're like, hey, Dwan, I finally became a millionaire. And I'm just like, oh, I always feel so happy that I got to be part of that journey, because it was not easy for everybody. And everybody thinks they want to be a real estate investor, or they want to be an agent. They think that, oh, I want to do this. And I think in their mind, they see it on TV and it looks super easy. And then when they start doing it, it's like, oh, okay, it's not quite as easy as I thought it was. So it's really nice when there's people like you and people like me that can help people and mentor them and guide them, because, you know, we've all been through it.
And also help them realize, it's like, if it was easy, everybody would do it. I remember hearing Nick Saban once say, everybody wants to be the beast, but nobody wants to do what the beast does.
That's exactly right.
That whole idea, having somebody kind of push you along to say, okay, look, I know you want to quit because you made 10 calls and nobody said, I'll sell my house for half the price that it would sell in the market for. But, you know, you got to keep making your phone calls.
Yes, you do. So you probably know Mike Ferry, the Mike Ferry organization. So my husband, when I met Bill, my husband's name is Bill Twyford. When I met Bill like 22 years ago, he was one of the coaches for the Mike Ferry organization. And so I had never been in the retail side ever of investing. It was just always wholesaling and rehabbing and rentals and things like that. And I got to tell you what, I listened to so many Mike Ferry tapes, and there's so much about make the phone call, pick up the phone. This is the script. This is what you have to say. You have to, these have to be your goals. You know, what's your production level? And I learned so much from listening to like training that was for real estate agents. I learned so much from all that stuff. Things as an investor I never really thought about, but it all ties together.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing, is a lot of my friends that were investors, especially now that a lot of the laws in a lot of states are changing, where in order to wholesale, you have to have a real estate license. A lot of my friends that are investors are now getting licensed, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff about contract law that's helpful as a wholesaler, right? There's a lot of stuff that I can learn that actually does coincide. But it's so weird, because forever investors lived on one side and agents lived on the other, and like nobody wanted to play nice with each other. And I do believe that there's this massive convergence, because that's also what people want. They want like a one-stop shop now. And so if, you know, Gretzky says the reason why he was the best, because he would skate to where the puck was going to be, not where it was. And, you know, I think that's where the puck's going for all of us, is to be able to have more than just one tool in your tool belt, you know? And
I think so too. People just, I don't know. I always tell everyone, like I said earlier, that, you know, it's a team business. You've got to have agents, you've got to have the investors, you've got to have the lenders, you've got to have the construction. Like, you really need to have all of it. Of course, you have it all under one roof, which is like super amazing, but it's not like a lone wolf business that we're in. We have to have people. And, it's nice when you can teach and train and coach other people and help them cut their learning curve. My learning curve was so long. I was like 30 years ago. I was like, man, I wish I would have had a coach back then. I would have made so much money so much faster if I had had someone to help me out.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I'll tell you, when I hired my first coach, my wife thought it was the stupidest thing ever. And normally she's right about most things. That was one of the things she was wrong about. But yeah, it was so funny because we got into it and she overheard like one of the first sessions, they were talking about vacations. And he was just hammering me because of the fact that, the whole idea that when you work, when you're on vacation, he's like, that's not a vacation. You're just working remotely, And so
Exactly.
my wife's like, yeah, maybe this guy has something to say.
That's so fun. So let's go back a little bit. Let's look back at like Chris, like 13, 14, 15. Where did you live? What was that Chris doing? What were you doing back then?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what, my story is crazy. So I grew up in the DC area.
Okay.
I've always been a go big or go home kind of guy. I don't know. I think I was probably, like an upper middle class kid. And, and what happened was, my parents, they loved me, but their marriage was a mess and I acted out, and I'm a high energy person. Shocker. Yep. I know.
And so, I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. And so, with my high energy and then also all the other stuff, I was acting out. I mean, literally, I was an entrepreneur from a young age. So I started selling drugs. I started doing all these things like crazy, even from middle school. Like it was just crazy. And for me, I would have been dead or in jail. Like my whole story is the fact I got involved with an organization called Young Life. It changed my life. I had some older guys that kind of taught me what it was to be a man and mentored me and guided me through. And so then I was so thankful for that. I went on staff with Young Life when I graduated college. I made $20,000. Yeah, I made $20,000 a year, which, is hard in the DC area, but I don't care. We can live on ramen. It's fine. And then, I got a raise. I was making 25 and it was amazing. But then when my wife got pregnant in 2003, I'm like, all right, well, I got to find a way to make ends meet. And so I went to the library and checked out every book on real estate investing. First, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was one of the first ones. And then I read every book on real estate investing because it was before you could find everything on Google, right? And literally, I was like, okay, go find houses that are in distress and knock on their doors. And so I didn't know what I was doing at all. But one of the things that served me well in life is and I've seen this in people that I respect, is I just had a bias towards action. I'm like, I'm just going to figure it out. Massive imperfect action. Let's go do something. Yeah. And so I just started knocking on these doors of people that were in distress, going for foreclosure, and somehow people said yes. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to write up a contract. And so, so that was the whole deal there. And I ended up making 12 times what I made in a year in about 4 months somehow, because literally the first person that said yes, I was like, now what do I do? So I called a real estate agent friend of mine and was like, hey, can you write up the contract and make this whole thing work? And we can just split the deal. So it's before I even knew what a JV was. I created a joint
JV before you knew it.
And so that was the deal. I made a bunch of money, and then I just kept doing ministry. And then I got to a point where I had more and more kids. The money started to run out. Heck, 2010, I was trying to sell my blood to NIH for $300 to buy Christmas presents for my family.
Oh my goodness.
And then I guess it was 2011, 2012. I was just like, heck, I'm going to start flipping houses again. And at that point, everything that I was doing to go flip houses, all that was left was short sales that I was seeing. And so I realized that if I got my license, the bank would pay me a commission. And so I started flipping short sales. Well, then the bank changed the way that they did their process. So there wasn't a big spread anymore. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, I'm really good at finding short sales. What do I do with it? And so we just started listing them. And then I read Gary Keller's Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And then, and then I guess it was December 2014, we started our retail team. And this year we're going to sell somewhere around 700 properties and do almost 300 million in volume of deals. We started the title company and the lending company, like all the other things just through those deals. So anyway, there's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a lot, but there's something about me I don't think that you know. So back in the 90s, I was doing a ton of short sales. I was wholesaling houses and doing just tons and tons of short sales. And I actually wrote like a little home study program for other investors. And I wrote the actual first short sale program for real estate investors. And way back then, I trademarked the term short sales as it applies to real estate investing. So, and I wrote a book called Short Sale Pre-Foreclosure Investing.
There you go.
The number one bestseller. And I have the registered trademark of the Queen of Short Sales.
Really?
Yes.
That's
I started
awesome.
doing them back way in the 90s, but I really, like, right out of the gate, I was a single mom, and I was, started door knocking. Exactly. Like, I was listening. I was like, oh my gosh, after my own heart. Door knocking, doing deals, didn't know how to do my first contract, had to get help, made every mistake in the book. But as I was helping these homeowners in distress, I thought, I don't know a lot, but I can teach other people how to do this. And I just had like a heart to try to help other people because I had been in such a bad situation. So I started having little workshops in my living room and teaching people about wholesaling and teaching people about short sales because I learned it by accident. And I wrote a little 50-page program and registered it and trademarked it and copywrote it. And and I was in the Gary Keller book, and then Wiley Publishing called me and asked me to write a short sale book, so called Short Sale Pre-Foreclosure Investing. And I trademarked short sales it's only as it applies to real estate investing, because it applies in the stocks and it applies to a lot of different things like that. So I have the trademark on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So short sales, I'm like, oh, there you go. I've done a cajillion of them.
The same world. Come on.
So many of them. So many. So when I was in Gary's book, I got called and asked to be in his book. And my section I wrote about, I talked about short sales and stuff like that. Because I don't know when it was, maybe 2000 and, gosh, I don't even remember when that book was. 10, 12, 13, something like that. The Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember. God, that's terrible. You think I'd remember something like that. I can't remember when it was, but I was so excited to be like a part of that book and to talk about short sales. Like, oh, we're talking about short sales. So I was so excited about that.
That's awesome.
But you have to look up my book, Short Sale Pre-Foreclosure Investing. And I wrote it in maybe 13, 15. I don't even know. I'm losing my mind on numbers. Anyway, it's been a while, but it was a bestseller. And then they actually asked me to write another one for homeowners, how to sell your house when it's worth less than the mortgage. So I wrote a book for homeowners to try to help them get out from underneath their houses too. Because I've always sort of liked the homeowner side and the investing side.
Yeah.
It sounds like you too, you've kind of married those two together.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing is like bringing a convergence, if you can help more people. I don't know. One of the things that I've learned is like work to help the most people. And then I heard somebody say this, and I really love this phrase, is the people that make the most money in the world are the people that help the most people. Right. Yep. And so, yeah, I just think it's powerful. It's
true. It is true. It's funny. My daughter and her friend my kids got into real estate for a little bit, and then they were like, we're gonna work with our parents. We're gonna go up and do our thing. And they did, and now they're back. And so my daughter, just this week, she's like, I want to go out. I want to talk to some homeowners. I want to go door knocking. I want to see what's happening. So just this week, I actually went door knocking around Denver. And I had so much fun. I haven't done it for so long. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And crazy or not, we got 4 deals under contract on Monday. It was crazy.
Just from that one door knocking?
No, we went out. We knocked on about 25 doors, but we talked to about 10 people, and 4 of them like fell apart in our arms, and we're crying and bawling because they weren't able to do the forbearance agreement, the nationwide forbearance agreement, and they're all going to sale next month. And we sat right there. I'm like, okay, well, here we're going to do it. So we got authorization signed and some contracts signed, and all this crazy stuff happened just 72 hours ago. It was crazy.
You were just knocking on doors of people that had an active auction?
Yep. People that have an active foreclosure sale date. Yeah. Within the next 30 days. So I was like, let's go out. You need to go in the field. You need to meet people. Let's see what's happening in the neighborhoods. I was shocked actually about just how bad it is for some of the people that didn't make their mortgage payments during COVID, got into the forbearance, and the payments are really high. And I was really surprised how many people just are literally sitting there and don't have any idea what to do right now. They're just sitting there waiting for the sale date.
Wow.
I mean, I had
Yeah.
this one guy, big old teddy bear. This guy's like giant, 6'5", Hispanic guy, like a big giant teddy bear. He just started bawling and he's hugging me and crying. I'm like, it's okay. I got you, man. We're going to get this. I'm going to help you with this. He's got 4 kids in the house. And I was just like, wow, it's been a while, since I've done that. It was really something.
Right. So, wow, that's crazy. Did they have equity or will those be short sales?
I think 2 have a ton of equity and 2 are going to have to be short sales. So I'm like, oh, okay, good. I've got all my bank contacts. I got all my stuff. And so I've just, I spent a lot of time like you, I think, coaching and helping other people. And it's just been a while since I like did that part of it myself. It was super fun to like get back in there and just like talk to people, because I really like helping people, whether it's students or homeowners in trouble. I really like helping people. And I kind of have other people do a lot of that for me these days. So it's just kind of nice to sort of be in the trenches for a minute,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go again next week. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go again because I really had a good time. So I don't know. So now somehow I've got myself looped into every Monday. I'm like, okay, I don't know how that just happened, but that's what we're doing right now. But it's really fun to get out there and do it. So so one of the things I always like to ask is if you can give us like one actionable tip that someone that's listening that is maybe thinking about, like, oh, I'm thinking about becoming an investor. I don't know. What's a tip you could give someone that they could hear it and listen to it and actually take action on it?
Yeah. Here's the easiest way, in my opinion, to find deals.
Okay.
Right? Is there's something called driving for dollars, very similar to what you do, what you're talking about right there. And what you do is you there's an app called Deal Machine, and I love Deal Machine. I've got a promo code. They'll give you a massive discount if you use the code uncommon. But yeah, just literally go out, drive every time you leave your house, drive a different direction, a different area, a different way, and just look for any house that is dilapidated, any house that looks like it is way under market, not taken care of, overgrown grass, rotted wood, anything like that, or cars in the front yard, like anything that looks low like that. And literally on the Deal Machine app, you can just get their data. You get their cell phone number. You can literally send them a postcard. You can send them anything. You can either call them, you can text them, you can send a postcard. I think you should do all 3. But here's the problem. A lot of people will find 5 people and they'll be like, okay, I found my 5. I'm going to get a deal with one of these 5. Well, it's a numbers game, right? Yes. So if you do this, it literally takes 4 hours to find 150 properties. That is like the average number, 4 hours.
Okay, 4 hours for 150.
And it usually takes 150 people that you're reaching out to, a list of 150 to find somebody that's willing to sell way under market. And so if you do that, don't cheat and call 10 and then say, oh, this doesn't work. Do 150 and you will find a deal, and it's awesome. Now, here's the next piece, because I really believe so strongly in where the real estate market is going. Of the 150, you'll find one deal, but you'll also find probably 2 or 3 people that are willing to sell, but maybe not at 65 cents on the dollar or 80 cents on the dollar or whatever it is. So if you are able to get a real estate license as well, and you're able to offer them the ability to list it, now you got to do it right. But let's say the national average is 400,000, but let's say it's only 300,000. You list that property, you made another 10 grand just by listing the property. So you wholesale one property, maybe make 20 to 40 grand, and then you get 2 or 3 other listings from it, and you make, 10, 20, $30,000 from those other listings. You made more than the average person makes in a year just by driving for dollars. And that's the easiest way to make a full-time, not just a full-time living, but crush it in real estate.
Crush it. It's funny because I was so stunned that we were able to get 4 people to sign authorization paperwork and 1 person to sign contract. That never happens in one day, like literally never. Yeah. But we pulled up some foreclosures that are just 21 days away. In Colorado, you have to file a intent to redeem within 15 days or you can't redeem your property. And they were just like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. And I was so taken back by the amount of business that we did the other day, because you're right. You have to go and drive for dollars. You got to look at lots of houses to get a few deals on a contract. And so I always tell people, like, listen, it really doesn't, you just don't normally go out and talk to 20 people and end up with 4 people signing stuff. It doesn't work that way. It was just a fluke. But I am so in agreement with you, with striving for dollars and looking at these houses. And now I don't know about this Deal Machine app.
Yeah, Deal Machine
Is it your
great.
app?
No, it's not. It's not. It's just a great app that I think is everybody should use. And literally,
I don't know how I don't know this.
yeah, I tell everybody about it. So they gave me a promo code. Like literally, you'll get like a massive deal on your discount or on your data if you do it. But yeah, you just pull it up. It's got like a Google Map function on there, and you just drive around. And every time you see a house that looks dilapidated, you just press the button and it saves it for you. And then at the end of it, when you get your 150, you press another button. You can either pay to have them send a postcard for you, which I think you should do.
Yeah.
You pay, I think it's like 12 cents a skip trace, but they'll skip trace all 150 of those people and give you cell phone numbers for them all. And then you can send them a text message, or you can call all of them. Or if you're really like a go-getter, then you call them, you text them, and you send them a postcard. And boom, you should be talking to a lot of distressed sellers.
You know what? I gotta tell you, I love you. You and I are like cut from the same cloth. I tell people the same stuff. It's like people just want to sit behind their computer and they want to just, do everything online, and they don't want to like go out, and they don't want to, like, you need to get into neighborhoods and see what's happening and see what the market is and like see what's going on. And everyone just wants to sit behind their computer and figure out some sort of a way to print checks while they're sleeping. It's like, but all the people are out there and they need help and they want help. And you gotta, like, that, text them and postcard them and call them and talk to them and door knock them. Like, all of it leads to like a really, really great business.
That's right. Absolutely.
I do not know how I don't know about this app. I'm literally sitting here stunned. Like, how do I not know this? So thank you for that. I love it when I learn something new. I love every new person I meet, but I'm super excited when I find something out I can apply to my own business.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to help. Yeah, no, I think
know. I'm sorry. I feel like I just want to like do like a TikTok. Say, all right, you guys get this Deal Machine app. And here's what my buddy Chris is doing. So I love all of that. So let's change up gears for a second. Tell me, Chris, what's your favorite band of all time?
Favorite band? Oh man, I don't know. Like, I mean, I love, well, actually, it's got to be old school, the Beatles. Like, I just love the Beatles. Yeah. They're great.
They are great. I love the Beatles too. I have little grandkids now, so I'm teaching them Beatles music. It's like, listen, Beatles is timeless. Like, everybody needs to know who the Beatles are.
Although I will say this, at the lake, I was kind of pulling up, and I'm getting a little more excited about, like, again, it's old school, but the old Beach Boys, like,
oh, so good.
That's good music. Like, I'm like, dang, this is great.
Beach Boys are so great. I remember when they came out. I'm a little older than I'm 63. So I remember I was maybe, I guess, a teen when the Beach Boys were out. And I was like, oh my God, look at all the people. They're in California. They're on the beach. And that inspired me to want to move from Ohio. I ended up moving to Florida because I saw all the beach stuff and I wanted to be on the beach. Like, literally, I was inspired from the music to move to the beach.
Oh man. Well,
without ever having been there before. And I was just like, that's it. So got the beach house, got the mountain house. It's like, I am so excited about that. I love the Beach Boys. Brian Wilson is like, he's really just, he's like an anomaly with all of his recordings and the pitches and the things that he can do. It's really, every musician says he's like the guy.
So good. So good. So good.
I love that. Find someone that likes the same kind of music. You can tell a lot about people by the kind of music that they listen to. Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Oh man, probably steak.
Do you like nice medium rare porterhouse?
Oh man, nice medium rare porterhouse. The porterhouse is probably best, but also, I mean, heck, every once in a while, get one of those massive tomahawks.
I know. Have you ever been to the place called the Big Tex out in Amarillo, Texas?
No, but I think I need to.
You have to go. It's called the Big Tex. They have this giant, like 92-ounce steak. And if you can eat it, they put you up on the stage, and if you can eat it within like a certain amount of time, you get it free. And anytime someone's doing it, and it's 8 hours away, which is like kind of a far drive, but sometimes we'll actually drive over there and hang out over there and have dinner because it's like so unbelievable. But the steak is so big. And the oldest person to ever win was an 81-year-old little tiny grandma, ate the whole thing. And then I got a picture of her, and she's like, it's not as big as a minute. She's this big, and she ate the whole. You have to eat the salad and the potato and the steak and like the whole thing. And there's this picture of this woman, 92 ounces is like, it's like this big and it's tall, it's giant. And 81 years old, ate that whole thing. I was like, oh my God, like how cute is that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. One time I went to
You got to go to the big Tex. You'll go there and you'll be like, thank you, Dwan. That was the best thing I ever ate in my entire life.
I'm in 100%. I wrote it down right here.
It's so great. Now what's your favorite time of the day?
Let's see. I would say it used to be late at night, but now every mentor I've ever met, everybody that I've ever read about that I respect has always been morning people. And so I just force myself to become a morning person. So now I fall asleep at night too quickly. But so I don't know. I mean, I would just say it used to be late at night, but now I sleep through that.
I still like late night. I'm still that person that's like up till 2 a.m. I don't know. Everyone I talk to, just about everyone, and everyone I've ever had on my show, they're all mentor type people. They all say, get up at 5 a.m., get up early. And I've done that for so long, but I don't know. Now that I'm in my 60s, I'm back to like, I like the late nights.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I find that time of day more peaceful.
Right.
When I get up at 5 for any, and I've done it for years, like a decade, and I was just like, oh my God, it's just like, it's too early. I don't think my circadian rhythm works that way. And everybody says you can do whatever you want. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still a little bit of a bat. So I kind of like that. Now tell us one more time how people can reach you.
Yeah, sure. So my website, chriscraddock.com. If anybody's ever interested, like the group coaching that I have that I give away for free, if anybody joins our EXP program, that's how you can learn more about that. And again, I just like what I teach is how to monetize your dead leads, right? So if you are an investor, if you're getting leads, how do you take those, like I talked about with the Deal Machine app, how do you take those 3 people that say they want basically retail value and turn those into 30 grand, And so that's what I teach there, chriscraddock.com. And then again, TikTok, Chris Craddock Official, @CradRock is my Instagram. And if anybody sends me a direct message, I'm still working through, like because so many people offered this to me. Like I personally will respond to any DM you send me if I can answer any questions, but just know that it may not come right away. It may take a little bit of time.
That's okay. But you really have a good heart for people. And I think that's great that you still help people, work with people and coach them and train them and mentor them, because real estate investing, honestly, it's like, I don't know. I think it's like the greatest thing you can ever do. Work for yourself. You have your hours. I mean, it's a lot of hard work and everything, but you have built like a really great business.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but I mean, at some point it's, for me, heck, I coached high school soccer and high school golf for forever. I've always loved helping people, and, it gives me a lot of fulfillment and joy. And frankly, the cool thing I've just found that, especially with even this EXP thing, is that, it's really cool being able to, as I help other people become more successful, it also helps me there too. So like, that's where I've really fallen in love with the ability to have that win-win piece. So It's incredible.
I love it. Okay, so I take a few notes. And so when I interview people, I call this session Inside the Minds of Today's Millionaires. So we try to just ask a lot of questions, random things, just talk about what you are. So I'm going to do a review, and you can tell me if we were able to get inside the mind of Chris Craddock just a little bit today. So first, chriscraddock.com, CRADDOCK. EXP Model is your coaching, which I love that. 44, 6 kids, 13 businesses, which is amazing. Everything from agents to construction to title companies and mortgage companies to flipping companies. Your favorite thing is retail. You like doing retail. So when you were a kid, you're in the DC area, you were always in sales and you were selling drugs and doing all kinds of stuff, but you were still making money. And then you got into the Young Life ministry. It's a ministry, right?
Yes.
And you worked with them for a while, and that kind of like took you off your wicked path, I think, and got you over on the good side. And then in 2003, you started your first real estate investing, and you made 12 times the money that you had made at the Young Life Ministry. In 2014, you started your first retail team and flipping house in 2012. You told me something I don't know, the Deal Machine app, which I'm downloading as soon as we hang up today. And one of the easiest ways for actionable tips is to get out, drive for dollars, use the Deal Machine app, find out all the information. And for every 150 people, you'll get a few deals. You like the Beatles, you like steak, you like the morning, but secretly you still like the late night. That's like a secret. We won't tell anybody about that. And you help people monetize dead leads, and they can find you at Craddock on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit about Chris.
That's great. That's great.
You are such a fun person. I have to tell you, your energy just like comes right through the camera. I love your heart and I love your energy. So one more thing. So first of all, tell me the name of your podcast one more time.
Sure. It's called Uncommon Real Estate.
Right, that's right. I wrote that down over here. I wrote my notes. Sometimes I write my notes real close together and then I don't remember what I wrote down. Or I can't really read it is what it is. So Uncommon Real Estate. So folks, I just want to really encourage you to go listen to Chris's podcast, Uncommon Real Estate. You'll be hearing me on his show soon. And I want you to always listen to my show as well, the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. And we work hard on our podcast and bringing you guys information, education, and teaching and training. So I always ask that you subscribe to both of us, leave us a 5-star review, write something nice. And on my shows, on the days I'm just teaching by myself, if you leave me a nice 5-star review, I might read your review. So it's a labor of love, and obviously you like it, and obviously I like it. And I feel like both of us really have a heart to try to help people. And it's super exciting to watch people start gaining momentum and gaining wealth and working towards that generational wealth. I mean, I find that that's like the thing that I love the most.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like being able to look around and see that you're leaving an incredible legacy, just helping other people. So, and also the other fun thing is the more successful your friends get, the more successful you get. It's just, that's just the way life works.
Yes, it is. And it's really nice when all your friends start making a lot of money too, because y'all have money to go everywhere and do all the things that you couldn't do back when you were younger. So I love that about that too. And also Chris started off with Gary Keller. So that book, Gary Keller, Real Estate, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, I'm in that book too. So check me out. And so I gave all your ways out. So the last thing is I like everyone to leave us with a parting word of wisdom, but actually just one actual word. So what is the word of wisdom that you want to leave us with this week, Chris?
If it's just one word, action.
One word. Action. Okay. Action is a great word. Okay. So everyone that's listening, your word of the week is action. And Chris gave us a good actionable tip. The easy way is driving for dollars and using the Deal Machine app to find out all the information. And so use his advice and use the word action and tie your weekend together. So Chris, I just want to thank you so much for coming on my show today. I know you're super busy and time is valuable for all of us. And I appreciate you giving me some of your time today. And all of us just have a big heart for you. You are such a great person. I'm super happy I got the chance to get to know you today.
Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
I know. You're so great. All right, everybody. We'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. Okay. Ciao. Goodbye, everybody. And goodbye, Chris. Thank you so much for being on with me today.